Coming up tonight on YCN News, Medicaid expansion continues to move forward in New Hampshire. A fire in Cornish destroys a home on Monday afternoon. And Vermont's chapter of the National Education Association asks the state legislature to come up with guidelines for licensing professional educators. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCN, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening, and welcome to this Tuesday edition of YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Medicaid expansion in New Hampshire continues to move forward. The House Finance Committee recommended today that Senate Bill 413 ought to pass. The bipartisan vote in the House of Representatives was 15-10. SB 413 is the compromise plan that would use public Medicaid dollars to pay for private health care services to about 50,000 of the state's neediest residents. The House lawmakers and their Senate counterparts have worked on this bill since the summer. Democrat Governor Maggie Hassan supports the bill. Democratic Representative and Hanover resident Sharon Nordgren says in a statement, the legislative and executive branches have stayed on task to pass SB 413. The bill is a broadly supported compromise plan to provide access to privately delivered and thus lower-cost health insurance to residents who could not otherwise afford it. The bill is expected to be considered by the full House on March 25th. Nordgren says if the bill passes, enrollment can begin in early May. Qualifying residents would be covered medically in July. No one was injured in a fire that destroyed a home for sale in Cornish on Monday afternoon. The fire at 300 Center Road spread quickly, yet working smoke detectors sounded in time for a woman and child to escape safely, the Valley News reports. A pet dog also escaped uninjured. The 12:30 p.m. fire was called into dispatchers who sent tankers and engines. Homeowner Laura Zell was not at the home when the fire broke out, the paper reports. Zell arrived on scene shortly after fire crews began battling the smoke and flames. Cornish Fire Chief Scott Reuter told the Valley News that the house may be a total loss. What caused the fire remains under investigation. Prior to the fire, the home was being prepared for sale. A local branch of the American Red Cross reached out to the family. Relatives are hosting the family instead. Traffic along the road and onto Route 120 was blocked for several hours. In other Cornish news, the school board's new members attended their first meeting Monday night. Holly Taft and Kathy Parks were welcomed by incumbent members Alicia St. Martin, Glenn Thornton, and Troy Semino. Semino is now the board's chairman. Thornton is vice chairman. SAU 6 Superintendent Middleton McGoodwin reviewed some ground rules as recommended by the New Hampshire School Board Association. It is the responsibility of the board to hold its meetings in public. A school board meeting is not a meeting of the public with the board. In the state, over 900 separate school boards exist, making this voter-elected position one of the largest in New Hampshire. In other education news, New Hampshire's neighbor to its west must determine by Wednesday a new plan for teacher licensing. Vermont Public Radio reports that the Vermont chapter of the National Education Association will ask the state legislature to come up with guidelines for licensing professional educators. The Vermont Senate Committee on Education met last week with new Secretary of Education Rebecca Holcomb and NEA President Martha Allen regarding teacher licensing standards. The Vermont Standards Board on Professional Licensing is the panel who determines licensure guidelines. Yet not much progress has been made to date, Allen said. Turnover within the Standards Board continues to hamper progress on topics key to effective teaching. These topics include how to evaluate a classroom, teacher, and suggest improvement if needed. Holcomb and Allen agree evaluation methods must be improved. VPR also reports that the teachers want to have their licensure handled by the Office of Professional Regulation and the Secretary of the State's office, rather than by Standards Board. When YCN News returns, we'll continue with more news.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Expert, compassionate care for those who suffer from neurological problems. That's Dr. Lawrence Jenkins' specialty. A board-certified physician at New London Hospital, Dr. Jenkins has over 35 years of experience treating the nervous system. New London Hospital is in your neighborhood, providing primary and specialized services in its state-of-the-art facility. To learn about our services and our compassionate doctors, visit newlondonhospital.org. New London Hospital, your prescription for living well.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Governor Jeanne Shaheen thanked members of the Claremont Fire Department today. Shaheen was in the city today as part of a trip to area businesses in the Upper Valley. About 2 weeks ago, 3 Claremont firefighters were burned as they entered a structure fire. Lieutenant Andrew Stevens was most seriously burned with upper body and face and neck wounds. Scott Keniston also was injured, along with volunteer call firefighter and Ward 3 City Councilor Nick Koloski. On a related note, a federal grant will help the department get back up to pre-recession level staffing.
One of the more difficult things that we've had to deal with in Claremont in this department over the past number of years, probably 10 years or more, is the fact that our staffing has been lower than where it should be. And occasionally, when the crews get a reported fire or an actual fire where staffing is slightly below what that optimum level is, it creates a difficult situation on a fire ground, and increases the dangers to the men. So what the SAFER grant is doing is we'll restaff the 3 shifts that we have that are short. So we've added the 3 men. They started a week ago today, and so the shift strength is getting back up to the norm. But of course, now with the 2 injuries and a retirement, we're short again. But hopefully that'll correct itself. We're covering with overtime, and we have still a 4th new firefighter that is scheduled to start in 2 weeks. So we keep, striving to make sure that the fire shifts are staffed at a safe level.
It's been a long winter for all of us. Thursday is the vernal equinox, and with that, spring will be around the corner. Meantime, chase away the winter blues with a selection of fresh flowers. Let's visit with Allison Coy of Alley Oops, a flower and gift shop in New London, for some colorful treats.
I would say the best way to get through winter this time of the year is to get some fresh flowers in your house. This time of year, the best case scenario is to come in and get tulips. They're $10 a bunch. They're so fresh, they're beautiful, and they're one of the only flowers that continues to grow in water. And as long as you change water, cut the stems, then you're all set. Also this time of year to come in and get potted bulbs. We have 4-inch in hyacinths. Iris, tulips, daffodils, and also primrose are beautiful for this time of year. Bring a little sunshine into your house on days like a snowy, wintry day like we're having today.
Tomorrow on YCN News, we'll tell you about how the city of Claremont is honoring 2 Vietnam War veterans. And we'll bring you all the latest local and regional news. Please tune in tomorrow.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
At H.R. Clough, we sell, install, tune, and repair home heating and cooling systems and deliver your fuel oil. But there's more to our operation than you see when we visit your home. Come visit ours and see the upgraded, expanded, and environmentally friendly fuel storage facility adjacent to our 24-hour-a-day credit card gas service. And from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., a self-service automatic touchless car wash. H.R. Clough and Kearsarge Heating Oils. Over 65 years of local ownership and dependable service.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Now Matt McDonald will have a look at our weather for the next 5 days, and he'll take a look at some local college sports.
Thanks, Rose. Tomorrow we'll have a high of 40 degrees with lows in the 30s. Thursday we'll have highs in the upper 40s with a low of 24 degrees. Friday will be partly cloudy with a high of 41 and lows in the 20s. Saturday we're expecting mixed precipitation, so be careful when traveling. Highs will be in the upper 30s with a low of 21 degrees. Sunday we'll have a high of 36 with lows down to 7 degrees. And now let's look at the northeastern and national radar maps. Now let's look at our community calendar. Tomorrow in Brattleboro, the Wyndham Orchestra is performing at the Latches Theater at noon. In Lebanon, New Hampshire, the City Council meeting is being held at 7 p.m. At 7:30 in Lebanon, check out the performance by three-time Grammy Award winner Keb Mo for some contemporary blues at the Lebanon Opera House. Remember, you can submit local events from your community by sending them to news@ycnnow.com.
And now let's look at the mountain snow conditions brought to you by Ski New Hampshire.
It's Monday, March 17th, and we're at Cannon Mountain Ski Area, taking advantage of over 2 feet of new snow that fell over the past week. This winter has been full of cold snowmaking weather and big snowstorms. The result is one of the best spring skiing seasons we've had in years. Come enjoy discounted lift tickets, uncrowded slopes, warmer weather, and fun spring events. Every spring, our ski areas take advantage of the warmer weather and host a variety of fun family events. A traditional favorite is pond skimming.
Well, these guys typically start roughing out the slush pond area, usually about Tuesday, Wednesday of that week. We limit it to 50. We used to have anywhere from 30 to 100. And typically, somebody's going to end up poking something through that bottom of that liner. So now we limit it to 50. Boom, boom, boom. It takes about an hour. The crowd is huge. And you're done. And then everybody just starts partying on the deck.
Be sure to check out our spring skiing guide at skianh.com. It's loaded with new lift ticket deals, ski and stay packages, events, and much, much more. This is also the time to get the best price on 2014-15 season passes. Many include free skiing for the rest of the season, which is especially valuable when we have this much snow on the ground. Also, be sure to keep visiting skianh.com for the latest snow conditions, ticket deals, weather forecasts, lodging information, and much more. 33 ski resorts, one stop, skianh.com.
And now let's take a look at college sports. Number 4 UNH is headed to Boston on Friday for the Hockey East semifinals. They will face off against number 2 Providence at the TD Garden. YCN will update you next Monday on the game results. The University of Vermont men's basketball team is traveling down to Georgia tomorrow to take on Georgia State at 8 p.m. And now let's turn to a story out of New England College. A men's lacrosse player is being honored as the North Atlantic Conference Player of the Week. Adam Schutt is receiving the honor for his performance and success in a recent game against Mount Ida College. Schutt will be awarded tonight. Schutt's traits include game-high scoring and team leadership. Also, a Colby Sawyer student is being honored again by the NAC. Freshman men's tennis player Miles Utel is the NAC Rookie of the Week. Utel won several matches for the Chargers, which brought him recognition.